Well, I'm cutting all that out. So,
Yeah.
cutting.
Well, yeah. Why are you cutting it out? Well, you cut it out because you don't want everybody to know that you're a fat fuck. And you went to the sushi buffet,
Oh,
and that's
oh.
why you had to push it back.
Why? Wait a minute. When did I send you that picture? At like
I,
1:30 in the after fucking noon. Okay. It's
God,
not like
God knows
it's.
it's not. Yeah, it's
It's
not like
not like.
you could have been
Wait a
there for
minute.
5 hours.
It's not like I was sitting there and I said I'm gonna need at least till 7 here, and then I'll fucking be home and you fucking bullshit. You're bullshit. You're
I mean,
bull.
it was close
You're the bullshit. No, I was there.
between that and
No, my brother and I were there for an hour. Then we went to the movies.
between that and you and Bobby Rogers, jerking each other's peepees all day.
Choppy choppy that pee
Yeah,
pee. We were jerking each
yeah,
other
the
off.
two of you.
Listen. I like to encourage Bobby to talk in that little group chat because I know it bothers you and Blake.
Oh, look, all we needed in that chat was to add Howard in, and the three of you would have the Three Stooges.
No,
Perfect.
don't fucking lump me in with Howard Brody.
No, no. Nobody, no, everybody. We don't mind being lumped in with Bobby, but Howard, there you gone too far.
That's a road too
Gone
far.
too far.
That's a
You've
road
gone
too
too
far.
far.
Although I feel like
Yeah.
Howard Brody. I
Whoa.
I had that sushi meal and that I ate
Yeah.
so much food. Everything I did after that I was out of breath. I was out of breath walking back to the car. I was out of breath walking up the stairs in the movie theater. I sat in a movie theater trying to digest like 2 pounds of sushi, and I was just sweating and breathing heavy through like 2/3 of the movie.
What'd you go see?
Doctor Strange. Nothing you'd like.
Oh, that's funny. So I have no clue what a Doctor Strange is, but I was wearing my Britain,
They've
my
been running.
UK, my.
They've probably been running ads for it on ESPN all the time.
Well, I wore my Union Jack tank top out today, and the cart guy at Publix like comes up to me and he's like, "Ah, Doctor Strange," and I'm like, "What?"
What?
He's like, "Doctor Strange," and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "The Doctor Who and the Strange and the this and the God." And
Doctor
he's
Who
like
makes
naming,
more
like,
sense.
and he's making like telling about movies that are coming out, and I'm like, I literally just I'm looking at him like I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, "You don't watch movies?" I was like, "No, man,
Yeah, you should.
I don't watch movies.
You'd be a happier person.
No, I
You.
don't have time for movies.
Yeah. All right. You're a very busy guy.
Very busy guy."
Very busy guy.
Yeah.
So
So,
let's.
well, I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
First
you're
off,
overdue on some LP stories that you promised like 2 or
yeah,
3
yeah,
shows
yeah.
ago.
I got some good stories, but I gotta just start with this.
Here we go.
So
Here we go.
I'm in my kitchen, and I hear a bang outside, like something fell or so, like a loud noise. I look out the window and I'm like, wow, nobody's out there. Nothing looks strange. But I noticed the pooper scooper had fallen. So I said, oh, no way that made that noise. But I said, oh, it may have hit the air conditioning unit. So I go out there to pick it up. I bend down. A fucking giant turtle. I have no water anywhere near my house. A giant turtle is the pooper scooper landed on him. It hit the air conditioning unit and landed on him. And there's this random giant turtle sitting in my patio.
Is it turtle or tortoise?
Don't know where it came. It's a turtle,
Okay.
but he's
Someone's,
bigger. He's
someone's
probably
pet probably got away.
I don't know. He looks petrified. But then he started to take off. This guy's not slow by any means. He was booking, and he went from one end of the patio to the other. He has wedged himself in a corner of my patio, underneath he just fit underneath the wood, and he's like just chilling there. I don't know what to do with this thing.
I'll wait a day, and if he's still there, grab him and put him in the woods.
I threw water on him, and all he did was put his little head back in.
Why would you just throw water on him?
I don't know. Turtles don't like water.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel
The
like
next step, I was going to give him pizza, and maybe he was going to become a Ninja Turtle. I don't know.
well,
because
that's not what made
there's
them a
no-
Ninja Turtle. That's
I
it was
have
the
no
ooze.
water here.
The
There's
secret of
no.
the ooze.
Where did he come from?
I don't fucking know. I don't care. It's not a good story.
It's a great story because if
It's
there's any
terrible.
turtle lovers out there,
Terrible.
I got to know what to do with this turtle.
Yeah. Nothing. Let it go on its fucking way. Just hope
I
it
don't want a
doesn't
dead
walk.
turtle in my yard.
Just
or-
hope it doesn't walk in. Well, that's what I said. Check tomorrow. Oh my God, you're It's like you're fucking retarded. Go look tomorrow if he's still there. Pick him up, put him in the woods.
Oh, I'm not picking him up.
Why not? He's a fucking turtle.
The best part is my teenage children, who should know better, are when we first moved in here 3 years ago. I had walked outside like maybe the first couple weeks we were here, and there was a turtle the size of maybe like it was a baby, like maybe the size of like a silver dollar, sitting at the front door. I picked it up, I put it in a cup with water, and it stayed there for like 2 weeks. And then one day the cup was tipped over, turtle was gone.
Well, there you go. That's what happened to your turtle.
Yeah, and
He grew up and he came back for revenge.
these two think the turtle came back.
I do too. I think he wants to bite you.
Like they both look at each other when they got in the car at school because I sent like the picture, and they both go, "He came back," and I'm like, at 17, maybe if you were like 5 and 3, you would be like, "Wow, the turtle came back." At 17 and 15, you'd think you know it's not the same fucking turtle. There's no way he made his way back.
Yeah, he might have. He might have been living back there this whole time. You don't know.
Could have been. Yeah, it could have been. Maybe
Plus,
he's grown up.
But also, your kids are both retards, so you know.
Oh.
Don't like credit them for being of an age to have a brain. You know what I mean? They're both fucking retards.
Oh, hold on. I got the ones yelling at me now from across the street over. What?
Oh, come on, man.
What made him turn around? You scared of me? Your friends don't want none?
This is terrible.
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 I got into it next friends. Did I tell you this?
You told me you told one. You told one off when he got a little smart with you. That was it.
Right. So I saw him again.
Uh-huh.
Round 2. When Nick the Dick had one of the worst basketball games of his career because I was there. My fault.
Yeah, you mushed his game.
I mushed his game. Oh, big mush.
So what's the end result? Is you're not going any more of them or what?
He plays tomorrow night. I'm not going. He's
Yeah.
on his own. Yeah. So he I see the kid, and the kid said, "Are you mad at me?" And I said, "Yeah, you're disrespectful. You talk back." Yo, I didn't talk back. So he left his chest open, and I did what any wrestler would do. I laid the biggest fucking chop across his chest, and it echoed through the gym like it was like whoosh, and everybody turned around, and he was so embarrassed. And I said, "So you're done speeding through the neighborhood?" And he said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." I said, "Oh, now we're saying yes, sir."
Wait a minute.
He
You gave someone else's kid a chop in a public place.
Yeah, he's 18.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
And he had on like one of these like Nike shirts that are like tight.
Did he sell
so
it?
Really like.
Did he sell it?
He like doubled over.
Okay, all
and
right.
then he said he couldn't even. He was going, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." He couldn't even get it out. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I've never been hit that hard before." Yeah. So then he went and got Nick, and they tried to double team me. They thought they were gonna take me on 2-on-1, and I got them both off me. And as I did, a little old lady walked by, and she stops, and I said, "All right, guys, stop." She goes, "Stop. I could take them myself." I said, "Look at this. The old lady's taking. I take both of you." But I chopped that kid so hard he couldn't even get out the word "yes, sir." He's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." I was like, "So we're done?" He's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Yeah. So it's all you gotta do is throw a Ric Flair chop on someone. But everybody in the gym turned around, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I hit him hard. Yeah.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah. So anyway. All right, so you want to hear some LP stories?
Maybe. I do have a little bit of breaking news though.
What?
You know the hometown buffet that's by my house?
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been. Yeah. It's been out of business for a couple of years. I just the irony of this does not escape me. It is just opened as a Planet Fitness.
That is irony at its finest.
Right?
Like
from a buffet,
like it doesn't even get any better than that.
To a gym,
right?
Beautiful. So.
Right, a buffet to a gym.
Yeah.
And those buffets, I've been to them a couple times, like different ones all over the place. And they were interesting buffets. They weren't great.
This was all right. It was all right. But hey, it was close, and I haven't been there in years and years, so it didn't matter to me that it was closed. But
right,
I did almost take a bump in the car when I saw it was a Planet Fitness now, and that they were having the grand opening.
That's total irony.
Yeah.
Yeah, total. So So you want to hear LP stories? Huh? Where did
I
we
mean,
leave off last
I
time?
thought you.
Remember we were talking about something,
Yeah, I don't remember. It did remind me of. I'll start with mine. Uh, it did
hmm
remind me of the story of when I was in college and I was a freshman
right?
at the Rhode Island School of Design, and there
Right.
was. It was like we're talking like first week of school. Like I'm not even sure we had classes yet. It may have just been orientation shit at that
Right.
point.
Right.
And we're in this like communal type area where there's a TV and a bunch of couches and stuff, and there's a vending machine in there, and
Right.
we're all watching some TV, whatever. And one of the dudes from our hall was like with a coat hanger and with his arm up to his shoulder, trying to dig shit out of the fucking vending machine. It was one of those like snack
Right.
machines, and another kid on our hall decided to go rat him out to like campus
Oh,
security. We're talking
a bitch.
first week of college, like you know, like who cares if
Right.
someone's
Right.
picking a vending machine? I
Right. What
would
do
be
you
like,
care?
grab me something, dude. That's the what
Right. Right.
you know. This guy rats him out. So this is how like resourceful these guys. This guy, the guy he ratted out, by the way. Just for some background, he ended up befriending Shepard Fairey because they were both skaters, and so
Yeah.
you know who Shepard Fairey is, right?
No. No clue.
It's the guy that created the Andre the Giant Has a Posse thing
Oh
and
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
obey uh like line of clothes and prints, and he did the fucking Obama posters, and like he's a huge artist now, but he back then he was a skater dude like these guys, and they used to they were like two doors down from me on the hallway, these two kids,
Right.
and Shep used to come in there, and the three of them would spend like a lot of nights chopping up. They'd have these big sheets of vinyl sticker that they had printed the stickers on, and they would
Right.
just spend like hours and hours just cutting them down into little fucking like I don't know 4x4 squares that then they would hand out to everyone on campus, and we'd all go home for a holiday or whatever and stick them up at our town, our airports, our bus stops, everywhere. That's how that thing went viral. That went viral before there was computers. So
Right. Right.
uh so anyway, this kid's fucking digging food out. He gets ratted out. He of course disappears before the security guys come. But
Right. Yeah. He's not hanging around.
but
Right.
this is how resourceful he was. The next day, somehow they had got a picture of the kid that ratted him out, whose name was Chris. They had got a photo of him, and they did all these photo copies of one sheets. It almost looked like a wanted poster, but when you looked at it, it
Right.
was a picture of Chris, and it said Junior Deputy of the Month, and then it underneath the picture it said how he bravely went and told security that someone was stealing
Oh
snacks
my
out of the
God! They
vending machine,
threw the guy under the bus.
and they posted them all over the school.
Oh my
All
God!
over the school. Tremendous. What a tremendous like I mean, listen, the fucking kid tried to fucking rat you out like day one. You don't even know anybody yet. And here
Right.
you
Right.
are like making enemies and shit. And they were just like, well, all right, you're gonna get a taste of your own shit. And they
Wow.
like how is that like first day, like first week of
You got to transfer schools. You can't even start there.
first
Like, what are you
week
talking about?
first week freshman. You got to be there 4 more years with people
Right.
referring to you as the junior deputy of the month for like literally.
Right.
Now, granted, we gave him some other nicknames. We called him the professor because he always talked like he knew better than everyone. And there's a line you're not going to appreciate this. It was a line from Star Wars where the
Yep,
second
never saw
movie,
it.
the second movie where Han Solo is hearing shit from the robot, and he just goes, someone put the professor in the back. So we decided to start calling him the professor because he was annoying as his robot. And so he got that nickname too. And then there's a whole yellow folder story I've told with Marco that I'll write it down, yellow folder, that we got to tell that sometime. But I don't think that's for today. So something, what I'm getting at is that something with the junior deputy of the month thing, something you told like 2 or 3 podcasts ago reminded me of that. I don't know what it was. But
Yeah, I don't know what it was either.
it was enough to make a note to, and I think mention it on the podcast that we tell. So yeah, so I I mean, we did some good ribs in college, but man, like for day one to get your nickname, like that for 4 more years.
I almost feel like you had transfer schools at that point. You can't even go there anymore.
You would think.
Or I feel like you're done. You're toasted.
No, no, he
Toasted.
he was there a couple more years. That's for sure. I don't remember if he graduated this or not. Who knows?
Yeah, probably not. Geez, yeah, I was gonna tell a specific story, but I don't remember what it was.
You are just useless.
Do you even remember? So long ago.
How would I know what your story is?
I don't remember what story I was gonna tell.
You're failing us again.
No, I will tell you. I don't know if I ever told this story, but this is what I was thinking of is so when you interrogate people internally, like when you catch an employee stealing, and I've been through classes, so like I'm actually certified. I've gone. I think I went once in the early 2000s. I went again in 2013, and I just went again in October. I've been 3 times. You get like certification to be like an interrogator, basically, right? Kind of like what the police do, like when they interrogate people. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, sort of.
Kind
of like,
right.
where you put them in a room with a light and a chair and a table, and you kind of make them feel uncomfortable,
We don't
and
do that though.
you sweat them out.
We're different. Ours is we go a different way. What we do is we make them feel comfortable, and then we hit them. So I was young at the time, and I was like, I'd gone through the course, but I hadn't really like talked to anybody yet. So I was like brand new like to this whole thing. So my boss at the time was like, "Hey, you're gonna sit in on one and watch me." Okay, cool. And he was trying to explain to me that every situation is going to be different. You can't talk the same to everybody. Like it's you're talking to a guy and maybe right, a guy who maybe a 45-year-old white guy who is doing this part time, but his full time job he's making like 75,000 a year, and this is a part time. You got to treat him different than a 15-year-old kid or something. Like just the way you talk to them. So because obviously older people may be a little smarter to it, a little censor bullshit. So anyway, we're in the room and we're talking to a probably like maybe 22-year-old black kid. But we knew he drove like a really nice, like pimped out like Cadillac. It was baby blue. I mean, like it was old school boat style Cadillac. So, my boss is like, you got to approach this guy a little different. Like, I can't come in like I'm reading off a piece of paper. He's going to sense my bullshit. Like, this guy's pretty street. Like, all right, cool. So I'm new, I'm green, no idea what's going on. I just know that when I went to the course, you stick to the book. So I'm like, this guy's going to go off the script here. Like, you can't go off the script. Can't do that. So we sit down and he's like trying to stay on the script, and the guy's not biting. The kid's really just like sensing his bullshit and is like not giving up anything.
What's a script? Kind of like when you call it like a
right,
like a technical support, and they're going through a book of answers.
There's kind of like a script that you're supposed to stick to, and a format when you're interviewing someone, right? So this it's not working. It's not working. Now at the time, again, I didn't know any better. I'm like, man, I would have stuck to the script because I don't know shit. So he knows that this kid is kind of street from the hood. We're down in I think we were down in like Homestead or something, and we knew he drove this baby blue Cadillac and like white leather seat. So my boss like switches and was like, you know what, man? Like, let me talk to you like just two men. And the guy's like, yeah, man, just shoot straight with me, man, because you're bullshitting me. Like, he knew he could see through the shit, right? Because it's really like you're really stroking their ego, and then you ask them some hard hitting questions, but you kind of stroke their ego a little bit first. So he was like, hey, the guy's like, yeah, just shoot straight with me. He's like, look, man, sometimes people do shit, and they know they fucked up and it's a mistake. And I'm like, oh no, this is gonna go south quickly. And he's like, look, I'm gonna tell you a story about myself, and I kind of feel like you would get this situation. He said, man, I was I was 17 years old. My dad just had a brand new Cadillac, just like yours. Beautiful, with the white leather seats. His wasn't baby blue, his was beige. And my dad let me take the car out to take a girl on a date, my first date. Me and the girl, we hit it off, pull up to the little spot. So you want to climb in the back seat? She says, sure. Get in the back seat. Next thing I know, I'm banging her. I'm lighting her up. He's telling the guy this. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get fired. This is not going to end. This is like an HR nightmare. But the guy's like, yeah, like, tell me more, tell me more. Like, the guy wanted details. He's like, how'd you fuck it? Like, he was that into it. Like, and he was like, tell a story or whatever, and he was telling him about, oh, I was drilling her, and legs were above her head, and the guy's like, oh, like, the guy was getting like turned on. It was weird. And so he ends the story, and the guy's like, that's a cool story, man, but what the fuck does that got to do with why I'm in this room today? He goes, because I fucked up, man. She was on her period and bled all over my dad's new white leather seats. And I had to return the car to my dad. There was blood everywhere. It was like a crime scene. I'm freaking out. I'm like 22 years old. Like, I have no idea what's going on in this room. The guy's talking about, I mean, he was like telling the guy, like literally how he was banging this girl. And I'm like, you're in a job. Like, if this, like, we're going to get fired. There's no way that this guy is not going to get up and call HR and be like, I don't even know what happened in this room, why I was in here. The guy had stolen, like, it was like $2,000 and stuff. So he tells this whole story and how he had to return the car to his dad and he couldn't get the blood off the seats and there was blood everywhere and his dad was furious. And the guy was like, man, I get it now. Yeah, man, I fucked up, man. I stole this stuff. And I'm like, how did you even get him to admit to that? Like, talking about, so he does the whole story over. So I'm thinking, like, okay.
So you got the guy to confess.
He got the guy to confess, but he went, he changed his approach. But the whole story. So when the guy leaves, they take him out in handcuffs, and the guy's like apologizing. And I said, hey, what the hell made you think of that story? And he said, what do you mean made me think of it? It's true. I said, there's no way that's true. And he said, yeah, no, it's true. That's what happened. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that's insane. Like, what did your dad do? He's like, oh, he made me pay for it, beat my ass, or they get the car cleaned. And I believed this guy for like the 5 years I worked there. I was like, I would tell other people, and I would be like, yeah. And then the story he told, like, new hires would come in, and I'd be like, and I'm like telling his story now. And 5 years go by. I'm going to move on to a new company. It was my last day. We'd go to lunch. We went to Landlubbers. You know Landlubbers very well.
Love it.
And we sit down for lunch, and he says, I gotta be honest with you, man. I say, what's up? He goes, that's not a true story. I said, what? He goes, man, I literally made that up in the moment, and it worked. And I said, well, why would you tell me? He goes, because the story was so good, and so you believed it. He goes, I didn't want to break your heart and tell you, I literally just made that up. Like,
but wouldn't it be just as cool if he made up a story that good that got the guy to fucking confess?
Well, I think part of the thing is he didn't want to teach me a bad habit about lying, right? So he just told me it was real. So, for 5 years, I thought that I told, like, new hires would come in, they'd be like, hey, train this guy on interviewing. And I would tell the story. And they were like, oh my God. So now, like, the legend grew, like, where people would come up to us and, like, if we were in a store, be like, hey man, I heard that when you were a kid and your dad, and he's like, oh yeah, like, it became like a legend. And he, like, continued to just play it up when people would ask him. He'd be like, yeah, that happened, man. So we all believed it for 5 years. Like, everybody believed that this is the story that happened. And it's funny because for the 5 years I started to interview people, and, like, I was trying to tell real stories because I thought that's what we were supposed to do. But my stories were not even cool as his, like, at the time.
Right. And the guys are like, what does that have to do with why I'm in this room?
Like, tell a story about, right.
You were just telling stories.
Like, right. And I was telling stories, but no, listen, this is the funny part. You say it was like, people would actually say to me, like, man, that story was long-winded, but I was telling real stories. Like, I thought, like, I thought that's what I was supposed to, but my story wasn't as cool as his. So after he had told me, I'm like, man, so we can make stories up? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I just didn't want to really teach you the bad habit because you really shouldn't do that. You shouldn't lie. So, I said, well, I got to make a story. Like, I need my own story. He's like, whatever you do, don't do anything I did that night. He's like, because honestly, we could have been fired. We could have been in deep shit. I was like, well, I didn't do anything. He's like, well, I could have been. He's like, if that guy went to HR and said he told me his, like, I mean, he was telling him like I had her legs pinned against her head. Like, you don't do that. Like, obviously, you can't talk like that at work. But this guy had me for 5 years believing that was true. Now, I still know this guy to this day, and once a year, I'll shoot him a message and just say, I'll never forget the period story. Uh, just as like a thing. And so I just recently, his birthday just passed, and I texted him on his birthday and I said, happy birthday. Hope you get the period blood out of your dad's car. He's like, man, this is never going to die. I was like, nope, never going to die. Like, literally ingrained in my memory. Because as he was telling the story, I was picturing it in my head, like what it would look like, like a murder scene. Like, I can visualize. I thought it was real. I believed it for 5 years that this truly happened, that this was a real thing. It wasn't. So
How did such a
you know,
mark become such a worker?
I don't. He worked me. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Completely worked me.
Yeah.
But now, I through the years I've created my own story, and it's funny because I tell the story now, and my story is actually true until the end. I changed the end part, so people have started to ask me, because at my company now they listen to these interviews. We record them, so they listen to them. So people have said to me, "Man, I love your story," and and I just tell them, I said, "Well, it's actually true until the end." So here's my story. Not as cool as the period story. My story is I asked my dad, could I take the car one night? I had just got my license. My dad said, "No, you're not taking the car." I literally got my license like that day, and he was like, "Bro, chill." Well, my dad went to sleep, so I took the car. But when I backed up, I hit my dad's minivan and I fucking obliterated the door. Like, the sliding door, like, I crushed it. So my story, I tell everybody that I pulled back in. I went and woke up my dad, and I was honest with him and said, "Hey, I fucked up." That's not the real story. The real story is I kept going. I went out all night, came home the next morning, parked in the driveway. He woke me up and said, "Did you hit the car?" And I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And he's like, "I told you not to take the car." I said, "Dad, I didn't even take the car. I didn't go anywhere all night." He was sleeping, so he had no idea. And he was like, "You didn't take the car?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, how the hell? Somebody hit the car. The door won't even open. It's jammed in." And I said, "No, the other car had no damage." He's out there looking. He's like, "You're right. I mean, you would have had damage if you hit the car." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't go anywhere, Dad. I was
Wow.
sleeping." Right. So he thought, to this day, he does not know the truth, my father. He thinks that someone in the neighborhood took a baseball bat to his door and crushed it. He has no idea that I backed into the car like full speed, but it was so late that he was sleeping. He didn't hear anything. And I literally pulled back in the driveway. I got out of the car. I looked. I was like, yeah, if I go inside, I'm fucked. I'm freaking going to kill me. I was like, if I go out, come back home, he'll never know. I'll act like nothing happened. And sure enough, he believed it. He was like, because there was no damage to the other car. The other car was a Ford Taurus that had a rubber bumper, and the rubber bumper, you couldn't damage it. It was like rubber. So
right.
it
You
hit
couldn't even get like paint on it.
No, it was black, and you couldn't get anything right. So it hit, and his door was, he had to go get the door, like, removed and a new door put on it. And this was in like 1996, 95, and it was like $300 to fix the door. He was fucking livid. So like every night, like for the next couple weeks, he would like not sleep because he would just look outside to see if somebody was going to come hit it with a baseball bat again. He thought that, like, he truly believed that's what happened, that somebody came or kicked it in or something. So every night he'd be like looking out the windows. But to this day, he does not know that I backed into the car. He has no fucking clue. I couldn't tell him even at this point. If I
think
tell
you're
him
ever going to tell him? You don't think you're ever going to tell him?
Well, he's coming over. My parents are coming here Sunday, and I just think still he's at almost 70 years old. If I tell him, I'm either going to get a quick judo chop to the throat or he's going to choke the shit out of me. Like, there's no way I could tell him You're talking 1995, 96. No way I can still tell. No way I can tell him.
Really?
There's no way.
I mean, that's a long
My
fucking...
dad, no, this man, listen, this is a man who to this day, I've been divorced for, I got divorced in 13 years ago. To this day, 13 years later, he will, in the middle of nowhere, go, oh, you made me spend goddamn $20,000 on a wedding that didn't work out. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was 13 years ago. Let it go, pal. He won't let it go. He will not let it go that he had to spend money on a wedding that I got divorced. He will not let it go. Like, if I tell him, no way, there's no way. He doesn't let that go. He doesn't let go. He won't let go of things that happen. Like my brother will be like, he still brings up stuff that happened when I was like 8. Like they got into a fight and he attacked my brother, like attacked my dad, and my dad threw him like through the wall. And to this day, my dad blames him for the hole in the wall that was there for like 3 years because he wouldn't patch it. And to this day, he'll be like, well, like the time you put the hole in the wall. My brother's like, Jesus Christ, that was like 30 something years ago, pal. Let it go. He will not let it go. I can't tell him. There's no way I can tell him. I tell him on Sunday, we're not doing a podcast, my friend. He'll kill me.
I think that'd be
He'll
good.
kill me.
I think that'd be a good podcast to have you two on together and just fess up. Just
Should I get me killed?
well, I'm just trying to make an interesting podcast.
Yes, exactly.
I don't care if it's at your expense. To
this day, he has no idea.
Very short term,
No idea.
because if you get killed, at least I'll have a few days to find you a replacement for.
What's funny is I'm the oldest of 5 boys, and the other 4 always got caught, always got in trouble. I never got caught. There'd be things where my dad would be like, "Oh, wait a second, I think I got him," and he could never get me because A, I didn't snitch on myself ever like the other jabrones, and B, I was good. I was good at it. I was good at hiding stuff. Like the night he came out one morning and there was a Jägermeister bottle in the middle of the street, totally broken, glass everywhere. You could see, patch of alcohol in the street. And he was like, were you drinking last night? I was like, no, I wasn't drinking. And he's like, well, somebody smashed a bottle out in the middle of the road, and there's a Jaeger bottle, and it's like, you could tell that there was still liquid, and I was like, no, I mean, I was underage. And he was like, you sure? I said, no, Dad, I didn't go anywhere. It was me, totally me. I got out of my friend's car. I forgot it was on my lap. I was so drunk. It fell out of my lap and shattered everywhere. I ran in the house. I was like, go, go, go. And I ran inside. Never, to this day, didn't know it was me. It was to the point where he literally was accusing my brother, younger brother under me, who in such a panic, because him and my dad were arguing, that he admitted it was him, and it wasn't even him, it was me. Because he didn't want to fight with my dad anymore.
Right.
And then he knew, and he was like, it was you. I was like, no. He was like, son of a bitch. I was like, take the blame. You can't take the blame. You cannot throw me under the bus at this point. Not possible. Yeah.
I told you about
I never got caught.
My brother at the Guns N' Roses concert, right?
No.
So he wanted to go with his friends to the New Year's Eve Guns N' Roses concert here at I assume it was Dolphin Stadium. And my dad was like, fuck no, you're not going on New Year's Eve to fucking... Because they was high school, or he was 16 or 17 or something. He's like, fuck no, you're not going on New Year's Eve to fucking Guns N' Roses concert at the football stadium, let alone that he didn't want them out driving on New Year's Eve. He just also didn't trust my brother going to a concert with his friends. He'd been busted with pot a couple times at this point. So
right.
So this is how dumb my brother is. My dad's watching the late news, the 11 o'clock news, and they're doing the news person is doing a broadcast from the stadium, with the fans around and all this. And my brother and his 2 friends just start get up behind him and start doing the idiot waving and yelling thing to be on TV. And
no, he didn't.
My dad leans forward in the chair. It's like, that motherfucker, and just fucking totally talk about ratting on yourself or whatever. Jesus, like how dumb can you be? You're not like this is like the opposite was like when we were remember that night we were out and Jackie,
Right,
you know, was on the warpath. He had heat with me because I didn't re-invite him after he turned us down. Uh,
right.
and once he saw
Because
how
he was such a baby.
once he
Yeah,
saw all the people that showed up and were having fun. And so then all night I'm
right,
hiding in photos because I don't need him to see them online and get more and more angry at me. So
right.
I'm like smart enough to know to duck being in photos, but my dumbass brother is trying to be on TV when he's not. Nobody's supposed to know he's there, you know. So yeah,
Right.
he got totally busted. I don't know what the
But what that's like okay, so that's something you only see on TV. That doesn't happen in real,
oh,
real
it
life.
happened.
Like that doesn't happen in real life. That's so funny.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
happened.
like we're getting in trouble as a kid. Like I get like I just never I never got caught doing anything. My brother under me got caught doing anything and everything. He would get caught. Like
Yeah.
he would get caught, and I just never got caught. And to this day, he's even like he has a little animosity towards me. Like, oh, you never got heat for anything. I was like, because I was smart. You were you were stupid about it. Like you know, and he like tries to now even at, 40, I'm 41, he's 40, trying to tell my dad now, like trying to throw me into the bus. I was like, why don't you throw me into the bus now? Like, like, are you serious?
What's that going to
He's like, oh,
accomplish?
you
Yeah.
got away with everything. And I'm like, yeah, still gonna, pal, still gonna. I'm the oldest. I was the first. They love me more.
The favorite.
But yeah, but yeah, it's just funny though. Over the years with that interview thing, people ask me all the time, man, that story you always tell to the person you're interviewing, like, man, oh yeah, it's true, but and then I tell them at the end, it's not true. I didn't. I drove away, and they're like, what? I'm like, that's not true. Yeah, I literally, it's all true till the part where I did went inside. I didn't go inside. I went away. I drove away, and then I acted like nothing. They're like, what a great story. But it's like it's like a legend now. Everybody at work, it's like
I think
everybody knows about the
it's a great
story
story that you fooled your dad and he thought like and that he
to this day.
stayed up for like 3 weeks after
Yeah,
it, keep looking out the
yeah.
window.
He put a sign in the yard at one point, like a weekend, like a no trespassing, like oh ADT security. We had no security at the
Right.
house. He went and like bought a sign from somewhere and put it in the yard. And I'm like, he was like, I'm gonna get them. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe they'll come back. Like it's like, he's so stupid that he really thought that. So but because I think he thought there was no damage to the other car, so how could he? There was proof, right?
Right.
If the car was damaged, he had me dead in the water, and
Right, right,
I
right.
would have gave myself up. But no damage. That Ford Taurus, that beige Ford Taurus with the rubber bumper, baby, saved me.
Would you if you
So
had if you if there was paint on the bumper, would you have waited till the morning to tell him or would you have woken him up?
I would have waited for the morning
Right. They're like, well,
because I think
why ruin
yeah.
a good night? It's the shit's already
Now
happened, you know?
now I do have another story that this is the real story. Not I didn't tell it like I'm not. This has actually happened. So I was working at Target. My mom worked for Target for 25, 30 years.
Hmm.
So my mom had gotten me a job at Target, and I was just out of high school, and I was driving a red Ford Probe at the time. That was my first car. So my mom got me when I graduated on the 4 a.m. truck team. So I would go to work at 4 a.m. and I would only work till noon. It was perfect. 18 years old, you're working 4 to noon. Like, you're still able to go to the beach. You were able to do everything. And it was only a Monday through Friday gig because they didn't get trucks on weekends. So perfect gig. I think I was making like $6 an hour or something at the time. It was so little. And I was late one morning and I didn't want to be late. So it was like 3:45 and we lived about 10 minutes away from Target. And I backed up and I smashed the mailbox to like fucking smithereens. Cause I was half asleep, tired. I was still like high from the night before. Literally back up, smashed it. I put the car in drive. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be late. So I just went to work. Uh, I just went to work. I didn't say anything. I just left the mailbox. Literally, it was all over the street. I just left. I went to work. So at about like 7 o'clock, my mom comes over and she's like, hey, did you hit the mailbox? I said, what do you mean? She's like, your father said the mailbox is completely decimated. It's all over the street. It's everywhere. And I said, Mom, what? She's like, don't you fucking lie to me. She's like, did you hit the mailbox? I was like, okay, look, my car's a little dented. I fucking hit the mailbox. She's like, why would you not go back inside and tell him? I was like, don't tell him. You can't tell him. She's like, I gotta tell him. I was like, don't tell him. Don't tell him I hit the mail. Let me call and tell him. So I call him on break, and he's like, you fucking moron. My mom ratted me out. She ratted me out. So, because I was going to call and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. She ratted me out, and he was like, you fucking idiot. You can't see when you drive. How do you don't even come here to tell me? I was like, it was 4 a.m. That was going to wake you up. He was like, you woke up, you hit the mailbox. You woke the whole neighborhood up. I was like, oh, you're kidding me. He's like, yeah, everybody came outside, but I said, but I don't know what you want me to do. Like, pick up the mailbox? I was going to be late to work. And he made me pay for the fucking mailbox. And mailboxes are not cheap.
I have no idea what a mailbox costs.
Yeah, it was like $100, and I was making like
$6 an hour.
$6 an hour, or maybe it was even less than that, $5.50 or something. So yeah, and the smithereens. I crushed it, absolutely crushed this piece of shit wooden mailbox, and he was so mad at me, so mad, like he wanted to kill me, and it fucked up my trunk of my car. Had a dent like right in the middle from the like a crease because I hit it so hard, and the metal piece of the mailbox hit the car. But yeah, I just went to work, but he was so fucking pissed, so pissed that he was more mad that I drove away than I actually hit the mailbox.
Like the damage is done. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Also be late for work?
So pissed. He was so pissed, so pissed. Yeah, my mom ratted me out though.
Yeah,
the neighbors ratted me out. All those motherfuckers. Yeah. So smithereens. I don't know. Because I don't know. I'm not even a bad driver.
I don't know where that falls in terms of cell phones. Like, was that a time where you had phones and things like that, or no?
No, I mean,
I was gonna say, like, at 4 you could have texted him, so that when he woke up, he could.
No, I had like I had the flip phone where you can only use it during certain hours.
Yeah.
If it was free. But I was just telling somebody yesterday, growing up in Florida, the amount of times I was at a red light, okay, and an old lady who was stopped behind me would take her foot off the brake and roll into me.
Yeah.
Easily, in my lifetime of living in Florida, over 10 times it happened. There's one intersection, it happened to me 4 times, and me in the car with Eric twice. 6 times one intersection where an old person would be behind us, and they would be stopped, like we're stopped at a light, but their foot would just kind of like, I don't know, they couldn't feel it. I don't know. They would let it off the brake, and they would just slowly roll and tap into the back of my car.
Yep.
And get out of the car, and they would never get out of the car. They would roll down there a little, sorry. I'm like, no, sorry, get out of the car. No, there's no damage. They were old people.
Right.
Like they didn't know, and they didn't want to lose their license, so they didn't want to get out and do anything.
Yeah.
So they would be like, oh, come on, there's no damage. All right, Bertha, go ahead, go on.
I had that happen,
but
it doesn't happen that like regularly by any stretch, but it happens over the course of years, here and there. But I literally, like, way back in like the mid to late 90s, I think there was a 1 week where it happened 3 times, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Everyone's rear-ending me, at lights,
Right, Florida drivers,
yeah,
horrible,
crazy,
worst drivers. I think them and people in Atlanta can't drive. So
I was in my friend's car with him, and I think someone cut him off, and he got pissed, and he started like they realized it, and they started to kind of like drive a little faster to get away from us, and he started tailing them and laying on his horn, and they turned to go into the Broward Mall, and so he turned too, and at some point I at least one girl in the car. I don't know I think it was 2 girls in the car. At one point, the driver like holds her purse out the window and drops it and keeps going, like to like try and get us to stop following them or whatever.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, you talking about being followed. Me and Eric were together, and we had like been inside a store, maybe it was the mall or something. I don't remember. And we don't want to put something in the microwave.
I hear you. I've been sitting waiting to reheat some pizza that's in the fridge. Here you are, fucking beeping buttons and shit, and being 30 minutes late.
Okay. Anyway, we were in the car. We were getting in the car, and I said, "We got in the car." I said, "Man, I think these two guys were following us." And Eric said, "Do you think?" I said, "Yeah, they kind of like trailed us all the way."
Bro, I
Like,
think the microwave is fucking with your fucking signal.
I'm not even near the microwave. I'm not even near the microwave.
Well, you're not
You
now.
can't hear me?
You're like
I
I can
wasn't
hear you. It's
before.
the
I'm looking at the turtle.
there's like a distortion or something.
Oh, you know why? Because I got the Wi-Fi calling on probably.
Mm.
So anyway, these guys had followed us out of the town center mall. We were like, shit, they're following us. And we get in the car. And next thing I know, their car is parked behind our car. Like they're literally parked behind us. Like middle of nowhere, motherfuckers. So we're like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, do we get out of the car? Or like I don't know. And Eric rolls down the window and he's like, what do you guys want? And the guy's like, you cut us off earlier. And I'm like, what? He's like, you cut us off earlier. We followed you to the mall. Like, we've been following you this whole time. And at first I'm thinking, we're at the mall for like 45 minutes. You're telling me that they couldn't have approached us in 45 minutes to tell us, like, you cut us off? Like,
It was that
what the
long?
fuck were they doing? Yeah, they just followed us through the whole mall. But didn't approach us at all. Like, they didn't say anything. They just followed us until we got in the car, and they parked their car behind us. So Eric was like, oh, sorry, man, whatever. The guy's like, where are you from? And I mean, he's like, here? And the guy's like, no, that's not what I mean. Where you from? And he's like, Boca? He's like, no, man, what gang you in? Eric's like, we're not in a gang. Like, what? And it was a white guy. And he was like, you don't rep no gang? And he's like, nah, man, we don't rep no gang. Like, whatever. And the guy just drove off. I was like, what the fuck was that? It was weird. So, like, years later, and I'm talking like 6, 7 years later, we're at a bar that we kind of like frequented often when we took Andy Roddick there when we won the championship, this and that. And in the bar comes the guy. And I said, Eric, I don't forget a face. That's that motherfucker from like 7 years ago who asked us what gang we're in. Now he's like dressed very nice. He's probably grown up. He's probably got a family now, and he got to the bar and you remember Punisher, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him, but I know of him.
So Punisher's what, 6'8"? I don't know.
Yeah,
absolutely. He was jacked
giant.
at the time. He was a fucking monster, right? I mean, just huge motherfucker. Shoulders look like, boulders. He was the like door guy. So the guy comes to the door. And I tell Eric, that's the guy. I'm telling you. He's like, that is the guy. And the guy's like, he says he's older now. So Eric goes up to Punisher and he's like, hey, that guy fucked with us like 7 years ago and asked us what gang we're in. Like, fuck him. So the guy gets to the door. It's his turn to check ID. He's got his ID out. Punisher's like, nah, man, we ain't letting you in. And the guy's like, what? He's like, no, not tonight, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's, my ID, like, And he's like, yeah, you're not welcome here. And the guy was like, oh, man, what? And he was like, he wasn't hardcore anymore. Like, you could tell, like, he had a wedding ring on, like, And the guy's like, what? I'm just trying to get a beer before I go home. And he's like, yeah, you're not welcome here. And he looked up and me and Eric were standing there. And the guy realized that it was us. Like, like
he recognized
put the two
you
and two
too?
together. Right. And the two of us just started laughing. He's like, oh, shit. And Punisher's like, you probably should leave. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to go. And we were like, yes.
Like, what an interaction that you all remembered each other like 7 years later. I wouldn't remember.
Followed us for 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah, but you didn't know he did. You weren't like looking at them for 45 minutes.
He knew he did.
Yeah, but you weren't.
I know what that motherfucker. He was a fucking ginger. I know what he looked like.
Oh, well, that does narrow things down quite a bit.
Right.
All right.
A pale ginger.
Okay, you didn't throw that out there. Okay.
Pale ginger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Because I'm
fucking-
like
but he
thinking
got-
like
yeah.
I wouldn't remember what some asshole I had a one-time encounter with looked like.
I remember faces though, man.
You
I
would.
don't forget
Jackie
faces.
would.
I am.
You would. I don't remember that shit.
I'm going to my corporate office Monday through Friday this week. We're having a big conference. There's a couple thousand people there. I will remember everybody's face and I'll know who everybody is. Like, I don't forget that shit. I'll know, like, everybody.
That's why
it's
you've
funny
gotten this
because,
far. You're not good at your job. You just fucking.
No, I said that. I just know
You
how
just
to get
have
by.
these.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you're just like I said. You're not retarded. You can look
Right.
people in the eye. You can hold a conversation, and you remember them. So there you go.
I don't forget shit when it comes to faces.
That's
but,
all you. That's all you
Yeah.
need to get by in the work world.
Right. That's it. So I know, and it's funny because a store manager that I don't know personally, I've never met before, sent me a message and said he had heard I had a TikTok, and he switched TikTok. He gave me his TikTok, and when he's got 23,000 followers, which is pretty damn good. And he was like looking forward to meeting me in person at the meeting this week. So I feel like I'm going to be a celebrity this week. So I think I'm going to kind of roll in as a celebrity. So I'm going to go get a haircut Saturday and shave. I'm going to go buy new clothes tomorrow. I got to uphold the image. I'm going to bring a whole bunch of chocolate with me on the plane, and I'm going to literally have people I work with try different chocolates
for TikTok.
So, yeah.
So the question is, where are you in terms of buying clothes? Are you going to have to buy? Are you upsizing again?
We're going to go Saturday. We'll see. I'll have an update Sunday.
I know I'm in bad shape. I know that I ate a ton of food today, but it was planned. I didn't eat the last 2 days in preparation for this.
Yeah. Today I don't know what I had.
I've resolved myself to this fact. I'm not going to stop eating food I want to eat at this point.
Right.
Or listen, when I want to, I'm going to do it. Let's put it that way. So instead, I've got to if I know I'm going to do it, I need to plan ahead and not eat for 2 days before it, so that it still averages out to be less calories per day.
Right. Well, all right. I got to get my stuff out of the microwave here.
I know you got to stuff your fat fucking face before you have to go buy new clothes, because God forbid.
Right. All right. It's good talking to you.
It wasn't. I didn't enjoy this podcast at all, to be honest with you. Well, I think this podcast was probably a 2 out of 10. Yeah. If I had to rate it. So hopefully, hopefully, I'll tell you what. I will tell the yellow folder story next time. 9 out of 10, guarantee. 9 out of 10.
All right, next time.
9 out of 10.
I'll be in Pittsburgh.
Bank on it.
Oh no, Sunday I won't be in Pittsburgh yet. Monday I will be.
Oh, okay.